joining me. Uh, I hope everyone's recovered from watching Cat's debate earlier on the no, that's not what it's called. It's called Banterbox UK channel. Okay, so here we are for another Crimewatch rewatch. And this edition, we are going back to the 27th of March, 1986. Okay, but before we start, let's just have a quick look and just see what people in the UK were talking about at that time. So first, it's actually international news. Evening, Rob. Good to see you. Hope you're feeling better. Okay, so here we are. So in international news, there have been violent clashes in apartheid South Africa, resulting in 31 people killed in a football stadium by South African police. Ironically, this was because a group of black people had gathered in a football stadium to attempt to smooth over complaints of police brutality. So good job there. The Labour leader Neil Kinnock, he was facing trouble in his own party from the militant tendency group led by Derek Hatton. Complicated to explain, but basically, as running the Liverpool council, they had deliberately overspent on their budget, and Labour had said that was a breach of ethics, and they were going through a whole disciplinary thing. Sports news. England continue to prepare for the 1986 World Cup with a 1-0 win over the USSR. Goal by Chris Waddle. Chris Waddle, just 1 year away from releasing the greatest single ever. Speaking of, the number one single on this date was Chain Reaction by Diana Ross. The number one album was still Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms. You know, like I said before, yeah, I can take or leave Dire Straits, but you know, this is the album with Money for Nothing and The Walk of Life. And the number one film at the UK box office was Oscar Bait, Out of Africa, which would actually go on to win the Best Picture Oscar. Meryl Streep would be nominated for Best Actress. Yes, Diamond Lights, and there was a thing. Do you know, when I told my girlfriend about that song, she didn't actually know that Chris Waddle and Glenn Hoddle were footballers. And they actually had a second single as well. It's not awful. Just can't remember what it's called. So anyway, yeah, so that's what was going on at the time. So we're going to start with this edition, like I say, 27th of March, 1986. Oh, I've just remembered something I wanted to do. I was going to look up to see what was on ITV at the same time as this went out. Oh, I'll remember to do that next time. Okay, but anyway, like I say, as always, just a reminder that these are real cases with real victims. So, you know, try not to go too far in my comments. Here we go. Cue the classic theme. I think it's been slightly rejigged. Just confirm everyone can hear that.
Hello, it's the last Thursday of the month. It's Crimewatch, and as always, it's live. If there's anything or anyone that you recognise as you watch our reconstructions, please do ring us. The detectives and BBC researchers here are waiting for your call, as are police throughout the country.
Last month, in our photo call, we asked you to help to find a man wanted in connection with the murder of an antiques dealer from Lancaster, John Ward. Over 130 viewers rang in, and two calls from viewers in the Midlands led to a major police operation. That culminated in Warwickshire 6 days after the programme with the arrest of Desmond Quigley. He was subsequently charged with murder. He appeared in court today and was remanded in custody.
No arrests yet after
a reconstructions last month. The
West Midlands Police did have over 50 calls about the murder of Dr. K. Two viewers have given detectives significant new details about the doctor's social life and contacts. And on the murder of Alison Day, police are delighted with the response. Alison was on her way to meet her boyfriend in East London and was attacked shortly after arriving at Hackney Wick station. Police appealed for other women to come forward. Well, no fewer than 38 of our calls were from women who've been attacked in that area or in similar circumstances. Police say these incidents, many of them previously unreported, have given them detailed profiles of possible offenders, and we'll keep you posted.
Alison Day was one of the victims of the railway killers, which was a crime that went on all the way until 2001, when two men, John Duffy and Gary Mulcahy, were convicted for her murder and the murder of two other women.
In December, we showed you this tractor and trailer stolen from a haulier's yard in Suffolk with nearly 1,500 cases of German wine on board.
The police
Some of the wine was specially bottled for the Nick Wine Bar, a police club in southwest London. Several viewers rang in to say they'd bought some of the stolen wine, and their information has led to the arrest of 5 people, 4 of whom have now been charged with the theft.
And finally, the jewellery we showed you last month.
Filth got their wine back.
Police in North Yorkshire wanted to return it to its rightful owners, and 15 items were positively identified. All but one of them turned out to have come from a house in London. As a result, a man has now been charged with burglary.
Well, now to this month's cases. 6 weeks ago, 28-year-old Steve Whitnell, the manager of a supermarket, was shot dead in his store in Putney in South London. The object was robbery.
Don't be confused, that is not former Liverpool goalkeeper Bruce Grobbelaar.
Or else they killed quite casually, and presumably they might kill again. Our reconstruction begins on January the 30th, 11 days before the murder, with an incident in the store in Putney which may provide a motive for the killing which followed.
From Whiskey, receiving over. Can you go to
the Whiskey.
Presto Supermarket, 62 the High Street, Putney. Report of an alarm bell ringing, over. Whiskey receiving 728.
Oh, sorry.
Could you call a key holder out, please?
But then you stole my thunder on a joke a few weeks back.
From Whiskey, receiving over. Key holder on way.
Can't remember what it was.
The key holder was the manager, Steve Whitnell. And with the police called to another incident, Steve was alone when he arrived to switch off the alarm just before 11 o'clock. Steve knew the alarm had a tendency to go off without apparent cause, and with the police reassurance there'd been no break-in, it didn't occur to him that this was anything other than routine.
No, you know he is? He's a cross between Bruce Grobbelaar and George Costanza.
Steve went to check exactly where in the supermarket the alarm had been triggered and arranged for an engineer to come and reset it.
Hello, mate. It's Presto's Putney here. We've had an alarm call.
Yes?
We'll have to get the engineer to reset it.
Right, your name, please?
Mr. Whitnell, code
Don't think we had
8759.
Prestos in the south.
Whitnell, okay. What zone went off?
24. It's the wine store.
Have you checked to see if anything set it off?
No, I'll do that now if you like.
Yes, please. I'll hold on for you.
Okay, hang on.
On his way to check the store, Steve noticed that lights had been left on in the meat department. It was the first sign of anything out of the ordinary. The wine store was undisturbed.
Hello? Yeah, I've had a look and everything seems to be all right. Must have been a vibration or something set it off. Hang on, I just heard something. Must be someone on the premises. Get the police over here as quick as you can.
Put the phone down. Hurry up. Let's have it.
He's sneaking round.
Knowing now that the police had been alerted, the gunmen were intent only on getting away. They left empty-handed.
Stay there.
When Steve heard the sound of a car starting, he felt it was safe to go to the window. He saw the gunman getting into a red Mark I Ford Capri. As the car turned into Putney High Street, he noticed half the registration.
Oh, too good for a Cortina.
The car then turned left in the direction of Wandsworth.
We have a description or index 728
Two coloured men made off in red Capri, part index 607 in November. Car has a black vinyl roof, black grille on the rear window, headed east down Montserrat Road. One man armed, believed with a sawn-off shotgun. First male, 6'2", aged early 20s. Second of a similar description, Whiskey 2 out.
Yeah.
Steve took the following week off work. He'd been badly shaken by the ordeal and he needed time to recover. His fiancée, Wendy Sanderson, remembers he didn't talk much about what had happened. She thought to save her from worry. The couple planned to marry in a few weeks' time, and they were looking forward to setting up home and starting a family together.
Oh, no. Well, you know what will happen
Monday,
now.
the 10th of February, 11 days after the confrontation with the gunman. It's Steve Whitnell's first day back at work. Wendy also worked at Presto's on the provisions counter. During the afternoon, Steve and Wendy took time off for an appointment with a local building society. They'd seen a two-bedroomed flat in Norbury they hoped to buy. When they returned to the store, Wendy left their car parked outside the rear goods entrance. It's now 10 to 7 that evening. The store closes at 6 on a Monday, and by now everybody had gone home except Wendy, who was waiting for Steve to finish locking up.
Wendy?
Are you ready now?
I'll just go and finish locking the stock room and then I better go and lock the car park. I'll see you around the back in a moment.
Okay, I'll wait for you by the back door.
Okay.
You know, you shouldn't
Normally,
talk ill
Steve
of the
set
dead,
alarm and left the store by the front entrance.
but
and he was intending
Steve
to do
is a
this
bit of a
after he'd
donut
locked the
here.
car park. As Wendy waited, the sequence of events began that would cost Steve his life.
Don't worry. Everything's going to be all right.
Steve, there's someone looking in at the back door.
We've stepped into an 80s horror film.
Steve wasn't concerned, as there were often vagrants around at the back of the store.
Oh, babe, it's 7 o'clock already.
Stay there. The money. Open the safe. The money.
You know, you'd think after what happened, he'd be more cautious.
Steve Whitnell was shot in the back at point-blank range as he lay helplessly on the floor. Wendy was forced at gunpoint to search through her dying fiancé's pockets for keys to the safe. But the safe could only be opened by combination. There were no keys. They left, Wendy believes, heading in the direction of Lacey Road.
Hold on, babe. Hold on. It's going to be all right. Hold on. Please, please.
Within seconds of being shot, Steve Whitnell was dead. Well, leading this inquiry is Detective Superintendent Derek Todd.
There we go. It's a case of Steve Whitnell. I would say, you know, I would have expected after that first incident, and that he would have been more cautious, but apparently not. Oh, well, then apparently Brian Clough was investigating this one.
The first question is why they needed to kill him. Has any motive come to light?
No, there's no reason at all. All that we know is that we think the motive is robbery.
How certain are you that it was the same two men in both incidents?
We're pretty certain. The description given by Mr. Whitnell in the first incident ties pretty closely to that of one of the men on the second.
Yes, we have on the screen there Steve's identikit picture from that first incident.
Yes, the man was 6'2" and aged between 20 and 22 years, and that resembled very closely the description given by Wendy on the second incident.
Yes, we have the artist's impression there from Wendy, and that's her description from the man from the second incident, who you think is the same man.
Yes, I do. The only slight difference, as one can see, is the hair. Quite clearly, in the second incident, the man had ringlets.
What about the man who shot Steve? We have Wendy's description of him too.
Yes, he was much shorter, about the same height, about 5 feet, same age, I should say, 5 feet 7 or 8 in height.
Just a little guy.
That's the most detail you could get.
That's right. She couldn't identify him at all.
Now, I know there are a number of things which actually baffle you about this crime. What are they?
Well, the main thing is the fact that the men were at the back door at all. Steve Whitnell usually left the shop by the front door, and we just cannot understand why the men should be waiting at the back.
So it's quite likely somebody would have seen people loitering around at the back.
Well, that's right. They certainly wouldn't have known at what time he was likely to come out.
Sounds pretty standard.
If at all. And we just feel that they must have been there for some time, and yet we found nobody who actually saw them there.
And Steve was shot at close range, so somebody should have seen perhaps somebody with blood-stained clothing.
Well, that is right. According to what Wendy told us, one of the men went through Steve's pockets. And
oh yeah, the shotgun, there'd be a lot of splatter.
In the arm area.
Now, the gun they used was a sawn-off shotgun.
That is correct.
Using quite unusual ammunition, you think? One of these two cartridges here?
Yes, that is correct. The scientists have been able to tell us it's one of those two. It's Mionchi make. It's an Italian make imported into this country. And certainly one of the two is quite unusual in the home counties.
So what you need really is an arms dealer, perhaps, who remembers selling that.
Well, that's right. Two things, really. One, any arms dealer who remembers selling this type of ammunition to our suspects, or indeed anybody who has ammunition like this and have had it
very brightly coloured.
Reported it to police.
Do you have any theories on how the two men got into the supermarket on the first incident?
We can only assume that they hid in the shop while it was actually open. There's certainly no sign of forced entry anywhere.
Yeah.
Because their cars
more than likely they would have just been hiding inside the
well,
store.
That's right. I mean, we're baffled about
waiting
that
for them to
The car
close.
must have been there for some time. The car is a red Ford Capri with a black vinyl roof. It has quite distinctive black slats in the rear window and two aerials at the front.
And Steve saw half the number plate?
Yes, he did. 607N November, but we have established that is a false number.
Right. Well, let's hope you can call and help us with something. The number here, if you can help, is 018118055. You can ring in absolute confidence. Or you can call the incident room at Earlsfield Police Station on 01947 6121. That's 01947 6121.
Okay. All right. So this one, the case of Steve Whitnell. Yeah. Good news is, yeah, his killers did get caught. So eventually. So like I say, as much as I do think Steve Whitnell should have been more cautious, but his killers did get caught. The ringleader was a gentleman called Stanley Braithwaite, who was sentenced to life for murder, and his two accomplices, Anthony Barry and Nigel Armstrong, who received 12 years for manslaughter. So there we go. So we'll go on to the next one. Take it away, Nick.
Next, detectives from around the country need help with a range of crimes. An armed man in Yorkshire who's raided
incident
5
desk.
building societies at least, a family's cherished collection of paintings stolen in Hertfordshire, and a clue that might help identify a rapist in London. Here with Incident Desk, a police constable Helen Phelps and Superintendent David Hatcher.
First on Incident Desk, a picture we showed you in December. This man's now committed 5 armed robberies and got away with more than £8,000. His first attack was on a building society in Chesterfield almost a year ago. This was quickly followed by a robbery in Sheffield and then back for a second time to Chesterfield. On the 23rd of January, he moved on to Doncaster. On that occasion, he walked into the Leeds Permanent Building Society carrying 2 plastic bags. He threatened a cashier with an
guy
object
likes to
in
dress
one
up
bag
as
and told her
Liam
to put
Gallagher.
the money in the other, which she did. He then left with his latest withdrawal of more than £3,000. He's 6 foot, in his late 30s, and probably comes from Yorkshire. And last Thursday, he struck again in Sheffield, getting away with over £700 and leaving us with a gallery of 3 pictures. Somebody watching must recognise him, and a call now could end his spree.
These furry...
Okay. Just leave on that image of Helen holding some die. So this one, yeah, the building society robbery, it barely even counts because it's like the one building society robbery that I did actually find the culprit for. Because Yoda's a few weeks back, he's called Kenneth Edward Bowler, and he got sentenced to 5 years in November 1986 for I think he robs, was it 7 different robberies? Yeah, seven robberies. So yeah, like I say, we've already dealt with this one before.
Dice could hold the clue to the identity of a rapist in South London. In the early hours of January the 22nd, a young woman from Manchester was raped in Woolwich. She'd had an argument with friends, got lost in the area and took a lift in a royal blue Daimler. The driver offered to take her to the nearest station, but instead drove her to a schoolyard and raped her. The man was in his late 30s, about 5'3" and of medium build. He had a dark complexion and Mediterranean appearance. The dice were hanging from the rear-view mirror of the car. So think hard. Do you know
Does anyone still put dice in their car?
Like these in it, and who looks anything like this?
I remember
We're waiting for your call now.
everyone used to have those dice hanging in their cars.
If anyone is off to Israel...
Yeah, so this one, Woolwich rapist. Yeah, I couldn't find anything on that one. Those cases don't get the disco treatment. So yeah, we'll just move on to the next one. Oh, Scott, you have no idea. I looked in the comments of this video, and people were furious about this guy putting some dice in a Daimler. Not so much the rape, but putting dice, that was too much for them.
For Easter, keep an eye open for this man. He may be staying in a rather better hotel than you can afford, though, because Harvey Michael Ross is wanted in connection with bullion and commodity frauds totaling well over £5 million. This is the brochure for Harvey Michael investors, and we know 420 investors from all over the country have lost millions to the company, and there could be more. Ross disappeared on February the 22nd, and he definitely went to Israel first, but could have been back in Britain since. If you've seen him, or if you've invested in the company, West Yorkshire Police would like to hear from you.
People who are...
Okay, so that one, Harvey Michael Ross. Yeah, this one. You know, David showing off about the high life he's living. Yeah, they did catch up with him eventually. He fled to Uruguay, and he was extradited back to the UK in January 1988, and he was sentenced to 14 years in prison for fraud in September of that year. Couldn't find exactly how much he'd con people out of, but the reports, they seem to range between 13.6 and 14.5 million. So, I hope you enjoyed the time in the posh hotel.
Burgled. So often say it's the loss of items which have particular sentimental value which is most upsetting. Mr. and Mrs. Powys-Libb have lived in this Hertfordshire house for 30 years. On Christmas Eve, Mr. Powys-Libb spent the morning recording his own performance of Schubert.
Yeah.
He was making Christmas tapes for friends and relatives.
Well, isn't that nice?
But as he played, it seems that two men entered the house. They came in by the back door, and they made for a room at the other end of the house. The paintings hanging there included various naval scenes and relatives going back 10 generations. They'd been in the family for 300 years.
Ooh, so old.
Seven paintings worth £50,000 were removed. The frames were abandoned in the garden, and the Powys-Libb's unique family history was lost. The family are particularly keen to recover this 17th century harbour scene. It was one of a pair, and they'd already lost the other in a burglary 2 years ago. Mr. Philip Powys was the owner's great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. He was Lord Lieutenant of Oxfordshire and married to Isabel. The portraits were by Jeremiah Davison, signed and dated 1735. If you've seen any of them, remember without their frames, please ring us and reunite a very old English family.
And finally, we're appealing to railway enthusiasts.
So the case of the stolen paintings, that one is page. It's our first trip out to the dance floor. So it's a disco. My ongoing attempt to have the definition of the word disco changed to mean annoying or bad. I mean, Helen was quite disco on this because I just could not make out the name of the person. She's calling him something like Powys-Libb. I couldn't make it out. I even tried to find out who it was by looking through a list of the Lord Lieutenants of Oxfordshire. So, but even then, yeah, still couldn't find it. Still couldn't trace it. So, yeah, it's disco, I'm afraid.
Yes, to do a bit of train spotting. This is a list of 6 stolen model locomotives we want you to look out for. They were taken from a transport enthusiast shop in Wakefield just before Christmas.
Yeah, this one is really niche.
This is a rebuilt Battle of Britain model. Its missing replica, 603 Squadron, was painted in Brunswick green livery, but the name and the number might have been altered. Together with 2 in these colours, they're worth £3,500.
Well, as always, the number to ring is 01811 8055. That's 01.
Well, I hope David enjoyed playing with his little train set there, but unfortunately for us, it's another trip out to the dance floor. Oh, two discos in a row. Oh, I don't like that. Okay. I'll move on to the next one, which is one of the proper reconstructions now.
In our next case, we're asking you to look out for the killer of Avril Dunn. Detectives have sifted through thousands of clues, but the truth is that they're almost no closer to finding the murderer now than they were on the first day.
Yeah,
Let us take you back to last September, to Avril's hometown.
It's hard to find information about model trains getting stolen.
Avril and her family moved down here from Glasgow when she was 11. 9 years later, in 1980, Avril married, but the relationship wasn't happy and she separated 3 years later. In 1982, she was admitted...
For continues, I am going to ask that you do pay a lot of attention to this reconstruction. You'll soon find out why.
...in hospital, suffering from anorexia, but was well enough to go with her father and mother on holiday last year. By mid-September, she was home in Luton, where she shared a house with her cousin David. It was Saturday night, and as usual, Avril was heading for the pub.
Right, I'm going out now.
Where are you going?
Down to the Heron to have a drink.
Right.
Bye.
You aware that it's not Deirdre Barlow?
Her walk to the Heron pub took her past the Spinney by Henge Way, towards the tower blocks of the Marsh Farm estate. There'd been 2 recent sex attacks near the Spinney, so Avril always skirted round it. At about 8 o'clock, Avril stopped off to visit some friends in Five Springs Tower.
Hello. Hello. I've come to pick up the videos. All right, I've got them here. There you go. Okay. Bye. Thanks. Bye.
Avril used to call on this family several times a week.
Who is that? That's Avril, collecting the videos.
They got the impression that she sometimes made up excuses to visit them simply for companionship, to have someone to see and talk to.
That's quite sad, isn't it?
Yeah? Do you think I could leave the videos here? I mean, I'm going down to the pub for a drink and don't really want them getting lost or damaged. All right then, all right. Thanks a lot. All right, bye. Bye.
From Five Springs Tower, Avril almost certainly walked past the lock-up garages for the Marsh Farm estate.
This reconstruction is making me sad already.
At about 8:30, Avril reached the Heron pub in Birmingham Road. She came here several times a week to play darts, and she was known by most of the regulars. Soon after Avril came into the pub, she was seen on her own by the pool table. At about 8:45, one witness remembers having a strange conversation with Avril in the ladies. Avril appeared to be upset.
Oh, love, what's the matter about your boyfriend? No. No?
I hope this music doesn't get me copyright struck.
Do you ever watch videos? No, I don't watch videos. Has he asked me about my wife? No. I was married once, but I'm not anymore.
About an hour later, Avril spoke cheerily to some friends at the bar.
Went jogging today.
Did you really? You best not lose any more weight, though.
I know, I got to put it on.
Try half a dozen pints of Guinness tonight.
Serve Malibu lemonade, please.
Sweet. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Des King kept score for Avril's game that night.
I don't think any of us knew her at all, basically. I mean, I think most of us felt sorry for her in the sense that she always seemed to be alone. We always treated her as one of the lads. We used to pull her leg. play darts
That's
with her.
terrible darts
But she
throwing
never
technique.
spoke about things in general.
She usually stayed here at 11 o'clock on Saturday nights and walked home with 3 or 4 guys she knew. But that night, we sort of missed her about 10:30.
Avril said goodbye and walked towards the door, but detectives know little about what happened next. There were 2 customers who saw a girl like Avril about that time leaving the pub with a tall, fair-haired man. They walked towards a light-coloured car which had a spoiler and sports wheels.
Can you really rely on the testimony of people who've just been
Detectives
in a
need to
pub?
find another couple who were sitting outside the pub that night. They too may have seen the driver switch on the headlights, then sit there talking. Sometime later, about half a mile away, another driver saw a white car, reported this time as a Chevette, perform a curious U-turn in the middle of the road. Its driver appeared flustered.
Ooh.
The Chevette followed
Could be
behind
in-
this witness for a time and then swung off towards the Marsh Farm tower blocks.
Could be unrelated.
At 7:30 the next morning, Sunday, September the 15th, a body was found in the Hengeway spinney. Avril had been beaten savagely and had died of multiple injuries.
Superintendent Mel Thompson has interviewed dozens and dozens.
So that would certainly be his MO. But I think how old would Keir Starmer been in 1986? I think he would have still been at school, wouldn't he? Anyway, I hope everyone was paying attention to that reconstruction, because it will come up again soon. And also pay attention to the description this guy gives of who they're looking for.
Of potential witnesses. You still need some, particularly I think the couple
Pretty
sitting
much
on
giving
that
it away now.
window ledge outside the pub that night.
Yes, we're most interested to speak to the couple because they may well have seen Avril, who we think is Avril, leaving the public house together with a taller man to go to what could be an Opel Manta-type vehicle.
Right, it might not have been Avril, of course, in which case you badly need that man or the woman he was with to come forward. What do you know about him?
We know that he is 20 to 24 years of age.
Well, we've got a video fit of him. What's that like as a likeness of him?
Apparently, it's a very, very good likeness. He's 6 to 6'2" tall, medium build,
Looks a
with light
bit David
collar-length
Bowie-esque.
hair, brushed to the right, blue eyes, and clean shaven. And he was wearing a light-coloured top and darker trousers.
Right. Avril disappeared, as far as we know, about 10:30 from the pub. She wasn't seen, as far as we know, till 7 o'clock the following morning when the body was discovered.
Yes.
Presumably somebody might have seen someone drag something into that spinney,
Yes,
not realising what it was. What's that you've brought here? This is obviously part of her clothing. Now,
Yes, this was part of the clothing that Avril was found when she was wearing when the body was
Oh
found.
yeah, really maintaining the
bitumen's type stuff.
the integrity
The
of the
scientists
evidence there.
believe that it's bitumen similar to that used on footpaths.
Good
or
job.
car
Good job, guys.
Or roofing felt.
Right. There's some of it on both sides of her T-shirt.
Yes.
And around the zip
of
on
her
skirt.
skirt.
Now, the interesting
Yeah,
thing
no,
is
just
that although she was clothed,
put your hands all over the
you
evidence
managed
there.
by rummaging through dustbins at the bottom of a block of flats, tower block, to find more of her clothes.
We did. More of her clothing and also the contents of a handbag. They were found some 3 days after we found Avril's body.
Now, who do you want to call in particular?
We'd ask anybody that
Exactly.
saw the people getting into the car, anybody who saw anything at all in the spinney. And I'd ask that if anybody is sitting at home now who has any information whatsoever that can help us, to ring Crimewatch.
All right, remember it was late summer, early autumn. I'm afraid a rather unremarkable date, Saturday, the 14th of September. But if you know anything, or even if you have the slightest clue or suspicion, please call us. There are 4 detectives from the case right here with us on 01811 8055. If you prefer, remember, you can ask to speak to a BBC researcher. It's in complete confidence. At the incident room at Luton, that's on Luton 31122, 0582 31122.
Okay.
Well, now to our...
Okay, so I asked you to pay attention to the reconstruction there. And the reason is this cheeky motherfucker. Yeah, he's called Duncan Jackson. And he is the guy who murdered her. Yeah, there he was. I don't know if that's just ballsy or what, but yeah. Yeah, so he was eventually convicted. The case was reopened in 1998, and they were able to convict him using some new DNA techniques that weren't available at the time. But so he was always a suspect, and he does match the description they gave for him pretty well. And yeah, so he was sentenced to life in prison in January of 2000. Right, so yeah, I don't know that. I think that's a first, isn't it? Whether the murder has actually appeared in the Crimewatch reconstruction. So.
Aladdin's Cave. John Bly from the Antiques Roadshow explores a hoard of valuables and a few...
One moment. I'll get this up.
Lots of valuables recovered by police. John.
Thank you, Sue. To start with, I've chosen an early example of Crown Derby. It's a bit worn and a bit cracked, but it's so lovely it doesn't really matter. And most of us won't actually recognise these as being Crown Derby, little saucers, which we turn up, and underneath you've got the mark which we recognise, and then you'll see the word England. And that, I'm afraid, means after 1891. Now, while these little saucers are collectible and fairly expensive, they're not really that uncommon. Not like that pair of vases, which are absolutely super. They are so rare and so beautiful. Not very old, but they're surely to be missed. Well, now to something totally different. We've got a number of dolls this time. Here's quite a pretty one. She has an original dress on, little papier-mâché body.
That's definitely a matter of opinion.
Right at the nape of her neck, you've got here the word Germany, again meaning after 1891, and then AM, André Marseille. Not a rare maker, but a doll today still worth best part of £100. Now let's have a look at some enamels. We've got some very pretty boxes here. She's fallen over. Look at this one. Isn't that lovely? A little oval.
John,
box.
don't go destroying the exhibits.
So pretty, so charming. Absolutely perfect. The important thing is with this one, though, that it is not perfect. This one has been damaged along the bottom here, and that's quite important. It's a professional job, and it may be that this might jog the memory of the restorer who did it. Now, talking about enamels, I've got in my pocket a little silver case watch with an enamel dial. Isn't that charming? These little watches were made in their thousands and called granny watches. Come to think of it, that might be a better name for this part of the program. Anyway, this one, made in the thousands they might be, is actually unique because
granny
inside
watches.
It's got this inscription. Elizabeth Argent.
No, I'd stick with the Antiques Crime Show.
On her 17th birthday, 13th October, 1897. Wouldn't it be nice if we thought that that could find the right family tonight? That would be wonderful. Now, by now, you'll have realised that most of the Aladdin's Cave this month is jewellery. On this table alone and around us, we've got over £250,000 worth tonight. Irrespective of the value, I picked out these. I think these are
he just pocketed
so
it.
smart. It's so lovely. Look.
I saw that, John.
Lornettes, about 1920. So elegant. I really don't know what they're worth, and it doesn't honestly matter. Somebody must recognise those. And I suppose, really, we ought to complete the
does love his eye
by
there.
giving you the most expensive single item we've got, which is this emerald and diamond pin. That has been recently valued at £15,000. So let's hope there's
I
something
was wondering
there
where
to
that
jog your
went.
memory. If so, ring us now at Crimewatch.
Well, you must know the number almost by heart by now. If there's anything you do recognise or think you do, 01811 8055. That's 01811 8055.
I was going to say though about this number, because this is just the general number that the BBC used for like all their shows. So you can imagine you could call in. All right, let's say you'd videotape Crimewatch, and then for some reason you watch the edition on Saturday morning, and you watched it. You saw a crime come up, and it's like, oh, I know who that guy is. I'll call them up. So you dial the number, and suddenly you'll find yourself talking to Sarah Green and 5 Star about a murder. I think they really should have set up a separate number.
Now, in our next reconstruction, the 2 robbers have been described as calm, confident, even reassuring, although one of them had a pistol and they stole nearly £500,000 worth of jewellery. The robbery took place 2 weeks before Christmas, on Wednesday, the 11th of December. Our reconstruction begins the day before that in the Hertfordshire town of Hemel Hempstead. Just before 5 o'clock on Tuesday, the 10th of December, Morley's Jewellers.
Yeah, I think they should have had a separate number.
Last customers.
Hello, love.
Hello.
Can I have a look at that necklace you got in the window? The one that's 425 quid? The one just in the front there?
Yes, of course. Would you like to point it out for me?
Yeah, sure.
These 2 actors do look familiar to me, but I don't know. I think I've just seen them pop up
Since
in
the
other
beginning of the month, Morley's had been busy with customers looking for Christmas
crime dramas like
presents.
The Bill or something.
That'd make a lovely Christmas present, sir.
Yeah, that's the one. I reckon she'll like that. Yeah. Only trouble is, it's a bit small. My wife's quite a large lady. I don't reckon it'll fit around her.
Can I help, sir? We could always add a few extra links, of course, if you're particularly interested in that.
Well, I'll have to measure the wife's neck.
Come on, we're on duty at 6 o'clock. We better go.
Where's on duty, then?
Walthamstow.
Oh, in that case, you better hurry, otherwise you're never going to make it.
OK. Thanks a lot.
They seemed genuinely interested in the necklace. It looked like a potential sale. The next day, Wednesday the 11th of December, the high street was crowded with people shopping for Christmas and browsing around the weekly antique market outside Morley's Jewellers.
Yeah, The Bill was a rite of passage for British actors.
By 5 o'clock, most of the shoppers were gone and the market had finished.
Oh, hello again.
Oh, love.
Have you come with the check? Yeah. Oh, good.
This is not a joke. Now move slowly away from there. And don't do anything silly. You two, come over here.
Oh, well, that's soured the relationship, hasn't
Three
it?
of you get in that back room. Come
They were getting on so well.
Right. Now I want to secure you. Come on, get your hands up. Just don't do anything silly and you won't get hurt.
I'd give anything for a cigarette.
You shouldn't be smoking at your age. Right. Now from you.
See how courteous he is? He's just giving out good health advice.
Keys are out there in the office.
I'll go and get them then.
Yes, yes, right.
Please don't close the door.
Look, nobody's going to get hurt. Just don't do anything and don't touch anything. You can have a cigarette if it'll make you feel better. And I'll leave the door ajar, all right?
It's just that I suffer from claustrophobia.
And the keys to the safe?
Maybe not the ideal profession for you.
Right. Now I want the pole for the shutters.
It's in there, hanging by the back door.
I'll get it. Right then, come on, get out. Get back in that room.
The man was in full view of people in the cafe directly opposite, and police would like to hear from anyone who was there at the time and may have seen him.
Yeah, but you know, these people who saw everything happen, but It's not their business, is it?
All of you back in the shop. Come on. Come on. Right, I want you all in that room now. Go on, off you go.
Is it all right if we put the light on?
Yes, and you can leave the door open. Now, presumably you buy jewellery.
Yes.
Where'd you keep the cash you used to buy it?
It's in a box by the till.
Where is it?
It's there by the till.
The box is empty. There's nothing in it.
The other man must have taken it.
Yeah, I've got it.
Very polite, these robbers. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I want keys to the back door. Right, now you go back in this room and you stay there for 5 minutes. We're going out the back way.
So I think he would have made them a cup of tea if they'd asked.
A motorist saw them dash across Waterhouse Street towards the car park. Then the same witness saw them driving off at speed in a dark blue Ford Escort. Well, in charge of the investigations is Detective Superintendent Ron Archer.
Yeah, you can tell the Cortina was being phased out. The Escort was coming in as the criminal's car of choice. All right. So yeah, finishing on a jewelry robbery here. Let's see if Detective knows anything about it.
First, can we start with that car? Could you describe that for us?
Yes, well, we're certain that with the car we're talking about is a dark blue Ford Escort Ghia. There weren't any of that model stolen at that time, and we may well be looking for a hire car or a car that's been borrowed, or perhaps the car belonging to the robbers.
Now, the witnesses in the shop were able to give quite accurate descriptions, obviously, of the two men. Could we start with a description of the man who did most of the talking on the first day, on the 10th of December?
Yes, he was about 35 to 40 years of age.
Oh, it's amazing how many of these guys, these video fits look like Nicholas Lyndhurst.
Face with pink complexion.
All right, we also have a video fit of the second man, if you could describe him.
Yes, he was slightly taller, about 6'2" tall, 35 to 40 years of age again, and he had dark brown hair and several days' growth of beard.
He could, of course, have shaved the beard off, perhaps.
That's right, yes.
Right. There was one particular distinguishing mark about that man.
Yes, on his left hand, between his forefinger and thumb, he had a small blue tattoo, which the witnesses thought was probably more likely to be a letter rather than a number.
And a scar in between his
Yes, he had a small red scar near that tattoo mark.
Right. Now, there's obviously a better chance of finding these men if some of our viewers tonight can perhaps recognise or help us trace some of that jewellery.
Yes, there was a large quantity of gold chains stolen.
I definitely stand corrected on that.
Have a smaller hallmark with the initials JM.
That's the initials.
Was his name Norman Lovett?
Shop.
Right, and those are very, very small, so it'll be very hard for you to see that, but that's a blow up there on the screen. And some very distinctive watches.
That's right. There's some ladies' Emka make watches, which usually retail at about 100 to 125 pounds, and we'll obviously be very interested in anybody who may have bought one of those cheaper than this since Christmas time.
Right. And they have EMKA on the face of them.
That's right, yes.
Right, so if anybody's had any chains or watches like that since Christmas, please let you know. There is a reward, I gather.
Yes, there is a reward of £10,000 for any information leading to the arrest and conviction of these robbers. And obviously any information that we receive regarding them will be treated in the strictest confidence.
Right, we must remind people they did have a gun and they did clear the whole shop, £400,000 worth of jewellery within about 20 minutes. Thank you very much indeed.
Very efficient.
If you do have any information, and particularly if you're in the Market Cafe on the 11th of December, please do ring us on 01 811 8055. And there's also an incident room you can ring, and that is Welwyn Garden City 331011. That's 0707 for Welwyn Garden City.
I've been to Welwyn Garden City. It's not as nice as it sounds.
We'll repeat all the numbers.
But in this case, I'm afraid, the case of the jewelry thieves, we've got to take another trip up onto the dance floor. But don't worry, it is our last dance, our last disco dance of the night. But it's not entirely disco, because remember how last time I found a story about how the Crimewatch producers, they had the costumes stolen for a reconstruction they were doing. Crimewatch was the victim of a crime. Well, it happened again. Yeah, so the jewelry that was supposed to be used for that little segment there, you know, where Sue and the police officer were talking. Yeah, the jewelry got stolen from the Crimewatch office. So top marks there. Okay, it's just that.
Numbers you might need later on tonight in
Nick,
Crimewatch
play us out.
Update. That's at 11:10, right after question time.
And our lines here to the studio will be open throughout the evening. If you don't have a phone or you can't get through, you can write to us. It's Crimewatch UK, BBC Television, London W12 8QT.
We know Crimewatch can be a frightening programme, but the crimes we show you aren't the norm. They are most
No
unusual,
CFAX this
and
month.
With your help, we can actually do something to help. So please don't have nightmares. Do sleep well. Good night.
Good night.
All right. Okay, so that's the end of that edition of Crimewatch, but I'm not done quite yet, because I've gone below the line to look for comments to see what other people have said about this edition. So we start off with this viewer. They got quite the fright from the first story. Maybe see. We'll have to see. Was do we agree? Do we think Crimewatch was scarier in the 80s? I mean, I think they say everything was scarier in the 80s, but we'll see. This user loved watching the 80s aesthetics, particularly when a bus went by with a slogan, "Don't mail it, fax it, it's faster." I tell you what, but fax actually lasted around a lot longer than people realise. Even my work, it was only a few years ago that we stopped using fax. Jewelry shop. Yep, this guy was surprised to find out about Phil Collins' criminal past. I don't know, this Genesis weren't that bad. And a person pointing out about the amazing job. Yeah, I thought they probably are still just about in use, but yeah, they're very rare now. So yeah, no one commenting on the incredible job that was done by Nick, not contaminating the evidence. Phil Collins never wore a jacket to rob jewelry stores. Oh, I just got it. Oh, very good. Okay, and this one, despite Nick's reassuring words at the end, Unfortunately, he had a very messy time after watching this. So yeah, that will be it for this edition. Just a reminder of my new blog I've been doing. I'm still working through updating it. It's got four entries up on there so far, going up to October 1984. But I will be adding more on. So hopefully we can get that all up to date. It's because I have to go back and try and re-find a lot of the information that I had previously because I didn't save it all. And the link to that, crimewatchuk.blogspot.com, that is in the description below as well. Okay, so that'll be it for this week. Yeah, I think I should be able to. I should be back next week with it, and I've got a couple of other things I'm working on as well. And yeah, please feel free to like and subscribe and all that good YouTube stuff. And I will see you next time. Don't have nightmares.